So this is going to be a response to Richard McCook, Flawless Sides of Vinyl. This is a thread. So here we go. Perfect side ones. Flawless was the word that Richard used. I'm going to go with Parage by ACDC. Now, I never know which version this is. This is the version that I got when I was a kid, or a teenager rather. It's the one that starts with Give Me a Bullet, and then it goes through to Down Payment Blues, Gone Shooting, and then finishes with Riff Raff. Is this the European edition? Is it the American edition? Is it a UK special edition? Not sure. Anyway, it's a mighty side of vinyl. The one tiny caveat I've got about it is that Gone Shooting maybe goes on for a bit too long, but essentially it doesn't let up really. And I think the definition of a really good side is you've got to have a real absolute belter at the start of the side and then even more of a belter at the end. So this starts with Give Me a Bullet, which is a really nasty kind of, it's a mid-tempo song, but it's got a great intensity. And then Riff Raff at the end of side one is just an absolute hell for leather, balls to the wall rocker, and it's just a fantastic way to end that side. Flip the record over, of course, and then you get Sin City at the start of side two. But side two is another story. Right, next side one. This is a side one which I've always absolutely loved. This is the Bugles and their second album. I must be living in the plastic age then. Adventures in Modern Recording, and this is the one which was only partly the Bugles really. Jeff Downes left halfway through making it because he didn't think that Trevor Horn had a future in the pop industry. So Trevor finished the record himself. Side one starts with Adventures in Modern Recording, which is a wonderful song, great postmodern pop really. Beatnik, which is a great electro pop song with the most incredible synth sax solo, I would describe it as. Brilliant. Vermilion Sands, one of the most beautiful tunes you'll ever hear in your life. And then I Am a Camera at the end is a wonderful pop reworking of a Yes track, Into the Lens, which of course, because Trevor and Jeff had been in Yes. There's also a little hidden track as well, which is a kind of synthesizer version of a sort of Duke Ellington-y piece. It's an absolutely brilliant side of vinyl. Absolutely love it. So that's the Bugles and Adventures in Modern Recording. Next one, this is a complete contrast. Don't forget I'm going alphabetically here. That's the only link between these. So we've got John Cale now, and this is Slow Dazzle, which is one of the, was it one of the 3 records he made for Island Records back in the 1970s? It's the one that came after the big one, Paris 1919. I've always loved this one. It starts with Mr. Wilson, which is a bit of a homage really to Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys, and it has this wonderful fairgroundy kind of interlude. Taking It All Away, which is a fantastic melancholy pop song. Then a couple of real steamers. Dirty Ass Rock and Roll, which is just a great rock and roll song. Darling I Need You, which is a sort of a bit of a sort of Fats Domino type tune. And then Roll a Roll at the end of the side is just a really great pop rock song. Very solid. Really great album, actually. I would never have put side 2 forward as a contender because it does end with a very strange track called The Jeweler, which is essentially a really strange short story. I do like it, but it's definitely a bit of an acquired taste. But side 1, solid. Next one, a bit of a guilty pleasure. Record that I do need to talk about one day properly, and I will do. This is Level 42, the only album of theirs that I've ever really liked. I've got a greatest hits by them, and I do like quite a lot of the tracks on that. I've dipped into their other albums, and I've never really found one that is consistently good. Side 1 of this I've always loved ever since I bought it back in the 80s. Starts off with World Machine, which has got an amazing bass groove. Physical Presence, which has this wonderful Michael Lindup keyboard part, and then a couple of real big hit singles. Something About You, the third song, was a huge radio hit in the UK, and then Leaving Me Now at the end of the side is a real kind of MOR, weepy kind of song, really. It's definitely estate agent's music, but I do like it. When I first got this record back in, would have been the mid-80s, I really didn't like side 2 at all. But in more recent times, I've come to like side 2, not as much as side 1. Side 1 is tremendous. And the final side 1 we'll have is this, Supergrass, In It For The Money, which came out in about 94. Something like that. And this has got a blistering first side, absolutely blistering. Starts off with In It For The Money, which is a bit of a slow builder. Richard III, which is one of the singles, absolutely tremendous. Tonight, which is really fast-paced, just a great power pop track. Late in the Day, which is a really lovely ballad, really. It was the video for that one where they were all on pogo sticks in slow motion. Really great, really shows their versatility. G Song is the only song on the album which is on the side, which is maybe not top drawer, but I don't think you need every song to be top drawer for it to be a flawless side. I think you can afford to step off the gas a little bit. G Song is a good song. It's not quite up to the level, but I'm still going to say it's fine. And then the side ends with Sun Hits the Sky, which is possibly the strongest song on the album. Very, very uplifting, great, really great guitar sound, great riffs, great hooks. What a band, Supergrass. So there we go, there's my 5 side 1s, and we're only 6 minutes in. Side 2s. This is one of the ones I did mention to Richard, and this, I think this is my favourite thing that David Bowie ever did. Side 2, that is. Side 1 I've always been a little bit ambivalent about with this record, with Heroes, but side 2 I think is fantastic. I think it edges side 2 of Low, because Low ends on such a downer. This album, this side goes through all this very slow, strange, fractured kind of stuff, you know. Well, it starts with V2 Schneider, which is quite upbeat and but also quite ominous. Shades of kind of World War II, bombs falling and that kind of thing. Sense of Doubt, Moss Garden is absolutely beautiful. Nacone, which is the most kind of out there, spectral kind of track. Sense of Doubt actually is pretty damn dark. It's very abstract. It's very, very strange. With all these kind of croaking sounds and this weird do-do-do-do, really ominous. But the side then ends with The Secret Life of Arabia, which is one of the most glorious upbeat songs that Bowie ever did. And I just love the way that he sort of salvages it at the last minute, and we sort of ride out into the sunset with all these hand claps and just this fantastic refrain disappearing off into the distance. Absolutely magical. Right, this one, I nearly didn't put it in because I do think it is very, 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 very slightly flawed. This is Depeche Mode and Violator, and this is a great album. I'm not a big Depeche Mode fan because I struggle a little bit with Dave Gahan's vocals. Listening to an album, I find after a couple of tracks, I've sort of had enough of his voice. But this record has got a tremendous production, really dark, really detailed, really, really brilliant. And this one, it starts with, I'd say they're 2 best ever tracks. Side 2 starts with Enjoy the Silence, which is an absolutely magnificent song. And then Policy of Truth as well, which I think is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Blue Dress Clean is a more kind of low-key kind of song. Not as commercial as those 2, but I really do like it. And then the album ends with Clean, which is a really great hard electro track. The one thing that I don't like about the side is the fact that Enjoy the Silence ends with about 2 minutes of sort of fiddling about. I don't know why they decided to do that. It's got this great fade out, and then there's literally about 2 minutes of sort of electronic noodling before it goes into the next song. I don't understand why they did that. So that's my one caveat about that. Not 100% flawless, but I think in terms of song choice, it's absolutely brilliant. Next one, Genesis and Trespass. Absolutely love side 2 of this record. I like side 1 as well, but I don't think Visions of Angels is quite up to the calibre of the other 2 tracks. But side 2 starts with Stagnation, which is a beautiful, ethereal, autumnal kind of song, which then builds into a bit of a climactic prog rock epic. Dusk, which is just an ethereal, wonderful, autumnal, gentle song. It's just absolutely magical. And then the side ends with The Knife, which is one of the early Genesis really great masterpieces, really. Probably not as realised as well on this as on the later live album. This is pre-Phil Collins, of course, pre-Steve Hackett, so the band are a little bit naive in their playing, but I still think those 3 songs work fantastically well as a side. So let's have it in. Genesis and Trespass. Okay, next one. This is one which I listened to last night, trying to establish which side was the best. Not entirely sure I've got it right, but I do think side 2 of this is absolutely brilliant. Dusty in Memphis. Starts out with Just One Smile, which is a Randy Newman song. Brilliant. Then it goes into The Windmills of Your Mind. I'm going to have to get the record out here to try and remember who did which track. I think that one is yes, Windmills of My Mind. I looked this up last night. It's written by a trio, Mergman, Legrand and Bergman. I looked them up. It turns out I think it was a husband and wife team, not sure who the third person is, but they wrote the theme song to Champion the Wonder Horse, which is one of my favourite TV shows from when I was a kid. Absolutely loved it. I used to watch it every day in the school holidays, and I've always wondered who wrote the song. It was them. So that's a great song. In the Land of Make Believe, obviously a fantastic song by Bacharach and David, and then the record finishes with two absolute belters by Goffin and King, No Easy Way Down, and then I Can't Make It Alone at the end, exquisite. So I reckon probably side one and side two, flawless with this one, but we'll go with side two, Dusty in Memphis. Right, and the final one is Thin Lizzy and Jailbreak, and this is a strange one because when I was a teenager I had the shop bought cassette of this, and it was one of those ones where back in the day they used to do this thing where if the two sides of the tape were not quite the right length, they would swap two tracks over. So what they did was, I think they took off Warriors at the end of side one and they put Fight or Fall at the end of side one. Now Fight or Fall is one of my absolute favourite Phil Lynott songs. I think it's just absolutely beautiful, absolutely heartbreaking. Great tune, and you know, I always loved it. And then when I got the vinyl record, obviously I was surprised to find it on side two, so that always never quite chimed with me because I was used to hearing it, you know, at the end of side one. But anyway, it's on side two, the second track after The Boys Are Back in Town, which is the first track on side one. Obviously a great Phil Lynott, Thin Lizzy classic, probably their defining song, Fight or Fall, and then two absolute belters. You've got Cowboy Song, which is just Phil Lynott at his most romantic and his storytelling best. It's brilliant. And then he just totally outdoes himself. The final track on side two is Emerald, which again maybe along with The Boys Are Back in Town is maybe Thin Lizzy's defining song. So they totally nail it on side two of that. So gotta have it in. So there we go. Jailbreak, Thin Lizzy, that's an album I need to look at in more detail at some point. So hope that was okay. Hope some more people jump on this. Great fun. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Richard. And I will see you soon. Bye for now. I'd initially replied to Richard. I've got my headphones on, sorry. I just need to take those off. I don't know why I've got those on. Is that the first time I've ever done a video with a set of headphones on my head accidentally? I better start again, hadn't I?